Alright, hey guys, GreatGamer34 here. So this is going to be, I think, the 8th tutorial? 7th or 8th, I don't know. I'm lost track, there's a lot now. So we're going to be adding the load immediate instruction, and we're going to be adding the input instruction today, and then we'll see how much more I want to do. So let's get started. Okay, so the load immediate instruction is number 8 right here. So we need to take this over here, and what we need to do with our load immediate is we want to allow these values coming in from the opcode, or not from the opcode, but from the 3-bit immediate, and we want this 3-bit register value to come through this way here. So normally this should be closed. So what we'll do is close it, but we don't need to close it with a torch. We actually need to use a repeater because this is already inverted logic for us. But actually, you know what, just in case we need to add a different control line, we'll invert it and then do another inversion, because I think actually we will need to do another control line in there for our next instruction. So scratch that. So we'll do that, and then we'll do this here. Something like this. And then you can place a block here. And then you can move this. Like that. Okay. So now that's depowered. And now the other thing we need to do is put a similar mux on this. We already built it, so now we just need to put the control line there for it. So now we don't want to be allowing that input to go into the register at all. We want to only allow the register during these instructions down here. So we're gonna have to add this control line for those instructions. So let's look at our instruction set and where we're allowed to use that register, because we have the control line on it now. And we're allowed to use that register for add with carry, subtract, NOR, AND, XNOR, and downshifting. So I'm going to go ahead and on all the logic or arithmetic functions down here, we're gonna go like this. Oops. Oh, this is not gonna work. Actually, yeah, it will. So what I can do is I can kind of cleverly cheat like that. And then pull this from this side like that. Yeah, this will work. And then remove here. And then now that won't power into it. So now only the important ones power in that we wanted, and we can still have torches there that we don't need. And now we can get another bus off of this. Shoot. Screw this bus. I need this. There. Alright, so this will come around. We'll do signal strength testing later. Okay. So now with this line here is going to say when any of these are on, we want to be allowing this register here. So we need our busing color. And we'll place a repeater. So this basically sets up our ALU, and then once our ALU is set up, it allows our input to go through to it to say read this register. So now we need to do the same thing on this blue register over here. And so what I'll do, since I didn't last time for some reason, so I'll put in some registers way up here, or some muxes way up here. Okay, so now we want to allow this on those same conditions. Which might be hard to bus over there. We need to get this bus over. Let's see. This is really tight in here. I think our best way is up and over right here. So we'll send it up. Not there, I guess. We'll send it up here. And we'll bring it down. There. That's a lot of busing for that, but oh well, we need it, unfortunately. And so we'll signal test this right now. One, and there. So now that's normally closed, and then when it has power, it opens up. So, and that's 1 ticket delay that we used past here, so we'll put 1 ticket delay right there, and now that should be synced for those registers for those instructions. Now we need to also control it for some other instructions. So we need registers. Oh, we don't want to allow that register to be read into, so that's actually perfect. We don't need it for the screen. But we will need that register for the compare instruction, so when we do that, we'll have to worry about that. So I will get rid of this here, and this here, and actually make them gray, because they're still used, but they're... So black means we're not using them. I guess gray will mean we're using them, but they're used for a different purpose. This purpose, it's going to be used as the screen values. Like, you load from the register what value you want to be put on the screen, and then this register will be the X value, and this register will be the Y value, or something like that. We'll see how it works out. And then the branch, yeah, branch, we don't need that register either. And then I don't have any instructions down here, so yeah, we're good with the A, and we're good with that. Now what about the B one? Well, we don't need it for the load immediate, so we're good there. We don't need it for the input, so it should actually be blacked out like that. And then comparing, I need it, so we'll need it for that. And then branching, I don't need it, so I don't know why I have that like that. So yeah, we're good with our A and B's and stuff. Now we can work on our writes. So we will always be writing. So we're going to be hooking up this mux a little bit differently, because we're always going to be writing, except for one instruction, whereas the other things, it's used. So let's move on to doing the input instruction. Okay guys, so the user input is going to look something like this. We're going to have 4 user inputs, each of 4 bits. I don't care if you want 8-bit inputs, you could build this yourself and put 8-bit inputs on this. With this you could use one input as the lower half and one input as the upper half of a byte if you wanted to. This is the way it will call those values. This here will be the PC line. It'll tell you what program counter line we're on, what line of code we're on. This will allow us to branch to line 0 because it doesn't have a branch input. I didn't build any. Later on I might decide if I want to put do the busing to actually change the line of code we're on for easy debugging. We can manually clock it here, which updates here. It shows you the clock, and then this here will start the clock, and then you'll see it starts clocking here. And then we can stop the clock, and then it won't anymore. And then I have some inputs on here, and you can see that if I was to pretend to be the CPU calling for our inputs, we can call them out like this, and we get different inputs. Like so. And so this is what I'm planning on building, or showing you guys how to build for the CPU. So now we're actually going to do the input lines. Okay, so I messed up and I was recording without my mic for some freaking reason. Super obnoxious. So, God, it's happened so many times now. I'm getting so sick and tired of that. Anyway, do this. So now we don't read into the PC. Then, instead of this line coming straight under this like this, move it over and like this, and instead of this line being over here and coming up like that, delete it and move it to this side. That gives us some clearance here to bring this down like this. We go like this. We put a little bump here. We just continue this back like that. The bump will then allow us to put this on, and we actually want this to be busing color like this. I guess we'll do it like this. And then here's our least significant bit, and then that allows us to power in. And now you basically have to do the same thing on the top of this one. You have to do the same thing here, and the same thing on the red line. So now that those are done, because I've already recorded that accidentally, but it's kind of easy busing to do. I think that's pretty straightforward. What you got to do there with the gray is just get it so that when you power on here, it powers onto the line below it. So now that we power onto the line below, so remember this is user input that would be pulled by our CPU, so now we have to get that pulled somehow. So we're going to come over here, and I only have 4 inputs, user inputs, but you can have 8 by addressing all 3 bits here. I'm just going to use 2 of them. So I use the right one and the middle one for the least significant bit and the most significant bit of our addressing. I put the comparators here, just off the outputs. Then it's basically a block, torch block, and then over here we had to shift some stuff down to fit this. So it's just moving some busing out of the way, but I'm sure you guys can do it. And then this line here that this torch is connected to comes off of instruction number 9. Just like instruction number 9 over here needs to control. So instruction number 9 goes through an invert and ORs onto the same line that our load immediate line goes into. So our user input is basically a pseudo load immediate instruction where our CPU will pull from the user and put it in as an immediate. So that's why we're doing the same thing here as loading that value in as an immediate, but we're calling for it from the user instead of it from the instruction set. So we just pull this busing off to the side for now. And then now we can add some other instructions. Okay, and then there's one other thing that I forgot to do. So I think I mentioned this already. So we have all of these torches here that basically say for all of our arithmetic functions, for basically every instruction that comes in here, we need it to allow that register. But I missed out these two instructions here, so we basically need to say when this one or this one is true, we need to grab it. I guess I should put this bit here. So when these two are true, we need it to come to the same line over here. So I guess we could do it like this. And then to get that from interfering, just go like that. And then that actually has to come up into this line here. So this will actually run a spiral staircase up. But we need to count our redstone strength. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wow, look at that, right on the dot. So we'll go like this. And then bring it up here. Like that, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh no, it reaches that one. Okay, and then it's got to reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Shit. So if we can go like this, it'll have the original strength of the first one and get that extra reach that we need. So that should work. So if I let's just check, turn that on, comes up and over. Cool. Now I need to unbreak that line. Oh, I broke it here. But that also, well, I guess it comes up and over here the long way, but it's fine, whatever. It's Minecraft CPU, it's not going to be extremely quick. Okay, so we've made some progress. Okay, so now I want to work on our flags. We've neglected these for a while now. And basically we want this cell that writes these flags here. I'm just going to delete this busing. I don't know why I brought busing over there. I'm just going to bring it like this way. And then we're going to count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then we don't need all of it. We'll go right there. And now that'll lock these cells for us. Okay. So we need to be working on our compare instruction. So our compare instruction will require us to do a subtract. So first, let's go and look at what our compare instruction number is, and that is number 11. So it looks like we're skipping 10 for now. I don't want to do 10 yet, so we'll do 11. And so, oh, well, somebody joined. Okay, so to do compare, we need to subtract and we need to save the carryout and if zero flags. So let's do that. So to subtract, we need to invert B, and we also need to also do a carry-in. So first, let's figure out which one our carry-in is. I believe it's this one here. Okay. Comes up and into the up. Okay. Oh, and that's right. So this carry-in is weird, where when you're doing subtract, which is the only time we use it, I'll show you. So first, let's just get away to let's just do this, and whoops. Okay, and I need to do this if I want to power into that, don't I? Or do it from here. But that's A. Okay, so we want to invert B. Okay. So I want to be doing this. So I'm going to change this like this. I'm going to come over here. Like so. Maybe instead like this. I just need to power into this line. Okay, we'll do it like this. Cool. So we're powering into invert B. And then we're getting all ones out like we should. And then when I flip the carry in here, let's see if I do this, we still get all ones, so something's not right. And so when I break this connection here, it doesn't work. But if I break the connection here, does it? No. So we gotta figure out what's going on with this carry-in. Okay, so we know which one's carry-in is the one by the fact that it's the only one that's there. So we know this line here is carry-in, which means we also want to power into this line here if we can. So we want to do this. I want to OR it together. Oh, that's not going to work. Nope. Oh, I can do it like this. I'm dumb. So it's going to have a lot of delay going into the carry-in line, but oh well, screw it. That'll work fine. No, it won't. Shit. Okay, easy solution. Easy solution. Oh, I don't want to do that. There we go. Okay, so move that in. There. There. And there. So now our compare instruction, which is number 11 right here, so I can move it closer. Closer. So compare, when it happens, which is number 11. It'll come over here, and this should be doing What is it doing? This does not look correct. Okay, so we don't want the torch here, it looks like. And it looks like this is how we're gonna have to do this. Put a repeater like that here. Put this over here, like that. Don't really need that to be a half slab. Okay. And then do it like that. Oh, and I guess okay, there. So now when this instruction is on, it should be doing carry in and adding one, but it's not, and I think we gotta do that. And, why isn't this let me see what my other ALU does. Oh, so I had this here and it was powering like that, so if we don't have that on like that, if we do this, then you'll see that. Okay, so now we're getting our carry out when we remove this. If we have this in here, it doesn't act properly. It actually adds 2 somehow. I don't know how this ALU adds 2 on a carry-in, but it does, so we only want that. So cool. Now it produces the right flag, and the flag reaches where we need it to. And it comes over to there. Okay, now we can get started on some fun stuff. Okay, so we need this line here that controls our writing to our registers to be controlled by instruction number 11. So here's instruction number 11, and what we need is a monostable that will generate a pulse telling us to write. And the way we're going to do that is first we're going to bus this signal up and around up to there. So I guess the easiest way to do that would be like that. Oh wait, no, if we need to bus upwards we can just and we're going to be using that output there, like that. So we can keep going up. Oh, actually, I guess that's all we need to do. Like that. And cool. Alright, so now we know it's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, wow, look at that. And then here. Alright, so now the monostable, we can build the monostable on this logic here that's normally off. And so we will do this. It's going to be a torch like this. And then we're going to build 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to give it a 3-tick pulse. And we'll do that. And so now whenever we give it a long button pulse in, it just clocks once, and you'll see that it updated the registers, the flag's registers updated. So let's actually see what they updated, like compare them and see whatnot. So right now we have 0 minus 0, and it should be equal. 0 should be equal to 0, and we see that we have branch of equal. So now if we were to put an input, say on this side, so now A is greater than B, And now we're doing the same instruction. We're still doing the compare instruction. Still over here. We're still, I guess I should do this, or no. I guess what I should do to run the compare instruction is actually input 11. Oh, whoops, that's not 11, that's 13. There you go, that's 11. So let's input 11. And now you'll see the flag's updated. And now the flag says, what is it? It's less than, what? Let's see here. Do we have all the flags that should be? No, we don't. This one got updated too soon. So what we're going to need to do is put a sign here. Well, first I need to get rid of some of this lag. Alright, so I need to put a sign. Oops. Needs timings. Because it didn't update the flag properly. But if you see here, if I were to remove this and then re-update the flag, we now have that A is greater than B. Cool. Because I put a value on A that wasn't on B. Now let's put a value on B that's not on A. So let's do this. So we're still subtracting because we're still running the compare operation. We update, and now we have the less than flag. Now it's saying A is less than B, or B is greater than A, however you want to read it. Okay, so we know that this line works, but we just need to add some repeaters here. So what I will do is I will add 3 repeaters like this, that we can then add additional delay to, because we're going to need at least 4 ticks, but we're probably going to need more, but we're not going to need 16 ticks. So this gives us a good amount of repeaters that we can add timings to and make it easy and controllable. So now let's do our branch instruction. Okay, so you see here, our branch instruction has 4 things that we're looking for, but ours is actually going to only have 3. We're going to ignore branch of shift underflow. So we're going to have branch of equal to, branch of greater than, and branch of less than. So the way this is going to work is we don't need our blue. We don't need to be reading an input. But what we do need is we need our write register to serve us some purpose. So we are going to build a mux onto that. But actually what we need to do first is we need to go back to instruction 11 and make sure that we're reading A and reading B on instruction 11. So instruction 11 is still being read in, and if I were to put an input on here, is it able to go in as data? Does it make it past? No, it doesn't. So we need to be making sure that for instruction 11 and for right here, that we're also turning on this line here. So that's pretty easy. We just come right here. Turn this on. And now this should be allowing us to read our inputs in past the mux. And it is. Cool. So now instruction number 11 allows us to read inputs in. So now we can work on 12. So for 12 we need to get some values into here. And the way we're going to do this is the least significant bit and this is the most significant bit right here. So we're going to do this. And you'll notice they line up right here with our least significant bit and most significant bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of the spiral, the interlocking spiral, for our vertical busing. We could do the half slabs, but you know, make it uniform, do the whole thing like this, might as well. And then we do this guy here. Uh-oh. So we're actually going to have to stack like this. Okay, so I'll put this repeater back. And then we're going to have to put a mux up here too. So this right here is the way the interlocking spirals should have originally been built, so that they're not offset by one block and vertically. Like the way I have mine, they stack like this, so it's like one off from this one, but like you see, it's one there, one off like that. This is how it actually should have been stacked, but I was too lazy to figure out the proper stacking, and this also does a whole 180-degree twist. So this one's just probably better to go like this here. Like that. And then the question is, how far does it reach? Whoops. Oh, it reaches up here, so that's good enough. So now we can just put our mux, and then some repeaters. And cool. So now we can control what we want to be branching for. So here's our branch instruction here. And so we can pretty nicely bring this upwards. And I think I'll do it like this. So this 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, oh, we'll do it like this. And we'll keep this like that. Maybe we can instead come on, there's gotta be an easy way to do this. Move it down one maybe. Then this one. Oops. Sit like this. God damn it. Come on. There we go. And we can do this. And then that. Nice, okay. That's nice and compact, except that's never going to work. How do I want to do this? Maybe we could go like that. But I still have this issue, which I can resolve like that. Maybe I can't resolve it like that. Maybe I can resolve it like that. Oh, and I keep breaking stuff. This should be 12. Just like that. That's not what I want. Why is this so hard? Alright, we'll go on the other side. Or better yet, screw it. Come up through the middle. And we won't do a double inversion, we'll just leave it. Leave it alone. Make it quicker. There, okay. So that'll control our line in. When we want a branch, it'll ask us what we're looking for in a branch. Shit. I keep breaking stuff. Okay. So now what we're going to do, it's for ease of control, is I'm going to get a lever. Then right here and right here, we're going to put them. There we go. Okay. So now on a branch, not only do we need to tell it what we're looking for, we need to tell it to search for it. So we also want this line here. Oops. Come on. There we go. So we also want this line. Come up here. So we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and there. So now we will only search for the flags when this instruction is true. And right now, when we search for the flags, it's saying right here that we're not allowed to branch. So this here is supposed to go to our branch input here, our mux. So this line over here, basically if we put a repeater going in like that. This is the line that says go ahead and branch. Maybe go up one more. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Repeater. Redstone. Block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that'll reach. Okay. So not only does it need to go there, it needs to enable inputs to our branch. We need to be able to tell it where we're branching to, and that comes from the user as a direct jump. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then so when we're told to branch, it says, okay, next time I get a clock, I will do I will allow the clock to go through to here and allow it to pulse for a long time rather than here and pulse for a short time. And then I will also allow my user inputs to come through and then be clocked in. And then there's one more thing I want to do also. So I want to change up this ugly crap here. Basically, just needs to go like this. No fancy bull crap. None of this crap here. It's dumb, looks dumb, it's useless, unnecessary, extra busing, no need. And so what we'll do is we'll just do position 1 here, position 2, stack 5, like so. And I guess the one thing where we do need it is right there. Okay. So now our diode is the comparator repeater chain thing right there. So now when we get the instruction number 12, right now, well, hold up. Right now we're doing instruction number 11, which is the compare instruction, which would still be doing subtract and updating the flags. So now we get rid of this, and we have the branch instruction. This is telling us that the flag that we had was less than. So that's number 2. So if we search for number 2, it's saying, yeah, less than flag is there. I'm going to go ahead and branch. So that allows the longer input through here, and it allows the user input, or the branch input, to come through. So if we wanted to, we could have, say, let's branch to line 5, and the line 5 would be going into, you see it here, and it's this is high, low, high, and these are high because it's backflow from that. But you'll see here that we're on line, some high numbered line here, and then if I were to give it just a clock here, it knows that it should be branching and will branch to line 5, just like it did. So branch to line 5 because we gave it the input 5 right here. So we know the branch works. So branching works when because we're able to search for the condition that we want, we tell it which condition we want, we tell it then to search for it, and then we tell it if it's found, allow my branch and allow my inputs to my branch. And so that's how that works. So now we're going to be ready to add the screen function, which will control these lines here. And we'll be able to start running some mock programs in the next few tutorials coming out. So this CPU is basically done. You could program it to run Fibonacci, and hell, maybe the next tutorial will be just testing Fibonacci out, making sure that it can do that, getting some timings right with the branches, and then maybe we'll add the screen and stuff after that. So yeah, hopefully in less than 10 tutorials we'll have a program CPU then. If you guys like these, like and subscribe. Bye.